Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well.
Morning, folks. Morning. Happy Wednesday. The music off. There you go. Good stuff, team. Welcome aboard. Another Wealth Coffee Chat here for a Wednesday morning, Property Management Wednesdays, of course. And I hope you are well wherever you're tuning in from. Today's topic, right, it's a bit of a doozy, maybe. Hopefully it'll be all right with you guys, but to obtain landlord's insurance or not. So have a think about that topic for a moment, team, because we're going to go through a couple of questions, a couple of stories. We might even run through what is covered within a general landlord's insurance policy. Why am I telling you this, guys? Well, tell you what, something happened in the last 7 days that it's really important to know. And thankfully, this owner had landlord's insurance this time around. So before we get into that, morning to you guys. If you are tuning in somewhere on the East Coast, let me know. It's 9:10 where I am, down here in Melbourne today. A bit of a different background. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from today. Give us a bit of a shout out in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're ready to go. And we'll kick off this morning's conversation, as I say, all about landlord's insurance. Maybe pop in the chat for me. Who has landlord's insurance? Let me know. Some owners over the time that I've been doing this, and if you haven't met me before, 13 years in the property management industry, and over my time, I've certainly met a number of investors and landlords who definitely have the right insurance in play, and certainly a number of landlords and investors who potentially don't believe in it, potentially forgot to take out their insurance policy that time of year. So hopefully that is not you guys, but listen, we are going to go through that this morning. So bit of a shout out in the chat, team, if you are there tuning in. Should we obtain landlord's insurance or not? It's a pretty good question, as I say. Some people do it, some people don't. Why should our investors and landlords have landlord's insurance? Ultimately, it's there to protect you in that space. I mean, it's quite interesting. We purchase cars and we get insurance for cars. We get insurances for our house. And other property in there alike. We get health insurance, all type of insurances out there, I suppose. But, like I say, sometimes landlords forget or do not see the value in it. So I'm going to run you through a general policy that is highly recommended out there in the marketplace today. It may be a policy that you guys have already. It may be not as well. So we're going to go through that this morning. If you guys are cool with that, thumbs up in the chat and we'll get away with this because it's a really interesting one. In the last 7 days, I had a situation that I'm going to work through now with the client where we just, received handover on a new build. So we are very early on into the leasing campaign. We are showing people through all the fun stuff's happening now. It's been quite the wait to build that home. And we've just turned up to the property to, find ourselves in a position now where the hot water system has been stolen, team. The hot water system's been stolen. We're trying to work out when it happened, how it happened, put the pieces together. Now in this case, the first thing we did was obviously have a conversation with the builder, but we know they're really good builders, so it's not going to be them. And ultimately, maybe having landlord's insurance or the right landlord's insurance in play will be the right move next for us. Chris is on this morning, mate. Morning to you and everyone else tuning in this morning, wherever you guys are tuning in from. It's really good. So let's get on with the team. I'm going to share this screen. If you can't see that on your screen, do let me know in the chat box for me, team. Maybe you've got a different view to me, but I'm going to run you through kind of, what's generally included in a landlord's insurance policy and potentially what is not. No landlord's insurance policies, they are not all the same, team. I know the premiums your annual premiums may differ, but I can certainly tell you, team, they are not all the same. I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to run you through, generally what is covered in your landlord's insurance policy. And hopefully when we go through this and have a look at the content here of what is included, that'll give you guys some confidence and some reason to ensure, you've got the right policy in place. Not sure when the last time you guys have checked what's in your landlord's insurance policy, but if anyone knows what's covered within their policy, do let me know. Most people don't. It's something we do have to, consistently look at on a year-to-year basis to ensure. Because I can tell you what, team, 13 years in this industry, I've had insurance claims and been involved with things with our clients and other landlords that, significant claims. We're talking $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 scenarios. And depending on the landlord's insurance cover, I've seen some covered, I've seen some not. It's a lot of pocket out of your or money out of your pocket when it doesn't go right. So, as we say here, team, property managers, we're here to keep you safe. And part of that is protecting you from particular insurances. So let's have a look at this, team. So hopefully you guys can see that on your screen. Obviously, one of the biggest things within your cover is loss of rental income. Now, that is quite stock standard across the board, I would imagine. Excuse me. However, the differences between certain policies, in this case, where we're looking at a Terry Shear policy, there's certainly other companies out there as well that are quite comparable. You've got to look at how much loss of rent income cover is actually on the table and what's actually covered within your policy, right? In this case, right, there's some tenant hardship amounts there, absconding tenants, right, up to 20 weeks cover in rent. And, but essentially, we've seen some policies that only cover 8 weeks up to rent. So, 8 weeks, 20 weeks, team, that's a big difference when we're talking of rent cover in the event, you've got a tenant who has absconded, right? So is it more safe to have a policy covering 8 weeks, or is it more safe from your perspective, to cover up to 20 weeks? I think the latter will prevail in that space. Defaulting tenants resulting in termination, at least up to 20 weeks there, really important. One of the better policies out there, I suppose. There's things out there that, as I say, cover up to 6 to 8 weeks. Now, by no means, team, I am not an insurance expert. I'm just here to give you an insight into, the things out there and perhaps provoke some thoughts, for yourselves in your portfolios to see what cover you currently have and whether you need to make a move on that to keep you safe. Ultimately, right? So, like I say, it's not necessarily the loss of rental income, because most policies will have that. It's the amount that it actually covers. So, team, we've got to look at the finer detail in this sort of stuff. If premises and properties are left untenantable, due to damage, then, up in this case, up to 52 weeks, really good cover in there for you guys, in the event you've got to take, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks to get that property back up to minimum standards to rent that property back out, then you're going to have, a safety net there to fall back on. What's going to happen, team, if we don't have that? Maybe not so much, right? I'll see if you guys here as well. Bunty, good stuff. Good morning to you. And Tim's online as well. He says, yeah, opportunities. Something of the past, commonly building materials will disappear for construction sites. Yeah, it's quite crazy, Tim. I've had, the hot water system I'm talking about today. Something just happened recently. I've certainly had, I grew up in Sydney. I sort of managed property out there. I had someone once go under the house on a weekend and steal all the copper pipes. These things happen, unfortunately, in this world, and obviously we've got to make sure we are covered. Let's have a look at this, team, as well. So contents. What does specific landlord's insurance cover when it comes to contents? Obviously, tenant damage. I commonly get asked, hey, if the pet damages the property, am I covered? Well, again, comes down to your policy. In this case, there's up to $5,000, per period of insurance, of course. covered for any pet damage scenarios. Flood, stormwater, rainwater damage, etc. You can see there, bottom right, well, not bottom right, but at there, theft, fire, etc., including bushfires. And in my case, for our client, with the hot water system being ripped out, and we're wondering where it went and what someone's done with it, potentially theft, is going to be covered in that scenario. And so we feel a little bit more safe and we have a resolution to work towards. So nice and covered there in that regard. Obviously, there's some building for tenant damage and things like that. Now, team, landlords insurance is not the same as building insurance. So, certainly that is a separate policy. Please do not think your building insurance covers your landlord and tenancy, because in most cases it does not. So unless it's a combined policy, please check that is there from a tenancy side of things. What's also important, team, is some other benefits when it comes to your landlord's insurance. And I just want to really highlight, reletting costs that exceed the bond, removal and storage of goods as required by the Act, up to $5,000, of course. In the event you were going through a termination, the tenant has moved out, you need to change locks and you're going down that path, then obviously up to $250, that's covered as well. So all these little things, team, add up when you have the right policy. You are nice and safe as the investor, and you can obviously get that property, back to minimum standards, get it rented back out, and, get on with it with another tenancy. Of course, as well, as a property management group, and there might be potentially other representatives that you have in that time, there are other, things, included benefits within this particular policy that cover the costs of the property manager's time in court, tribunal, these sorts of things. So, really good to have. I see a lot of other policies that don't necessarily cover these sorts of things. So, sometimes when you add up the reletting costs, change of locks, representation costs at tribunal or court, then, that can start to add up, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on top of, the loss of rent, damages, etc. Like I say, from my experience, I've done claims $10,000, $20,000, and this certainly helps. You can see obviously it covers legal liability, which we've got to have as investors as well when we're renting our properties out. And, great thing you'll see on the right-hand side there with regards to the excess charge. There's no excess for loss of rent claims, team. So really important. I've seen claims, $500, $1,000, et cetera, et cetera. Really good cover there, team. And, like I say, when you don't get it right, it can cost you, a lot of stuff, which, not always the way to go as an investor. So it's all about keeping you safe, team. We obviously want to progress our investment journey. We want to help maintain the property. We want to hold the property for a longer period of time. And going about that, this is just one little bit of the framework that we certainly recommend and encourage our landlords to, engage with. So not an advocate necessarily for this particular policy. It's just one that's highly recommended across the country, of course, one of the leading providers. And certainly, there's a few other comparable policies out there. So, certainly, team, do your research. We need to, be on top of this sort of stuff from time to time, because, if we don't, I've seen it not go too well on the financial side of things, team. So hopefully you guys are all under control. Is there anyone here that doesn't have landlord's insurance, maybe doesn't believe in it? Let me know in the chat. It'd be interesting to sort of hear from you guys. And g'day to you, Jeff, mate. Hope you're well. Yep, got your email. We'll be chasing that one up today. We'll get back to you. Absolutely. So, team, that's it. Landlord's insurance, to obtain it or not. Hopefully you've got it. Certainly recommended from my perspective. 13 years in the industry. If you haven't got it, maybe consider it. Hopefully we've given you a couple pointers there on, what we can look at in that space as well, team. So, listen, team, I'm going to finish up a couple minutes early today on Wednesday morning. Let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. As the title suggests, below 8:10 Queensland time, about 9:10, I think, and for most other people around the East Coast and wherever else you're tuning in from, team. So certainly come back tomorrow, 8:10. Jason will be back for another episode of Wealth Coffee Chats, and we'll get through that and move forward, team. So listen, hopefully that's helped you today, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for playing full out, team. See you later.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.